commented underneath that video, "We want to see Steph make 12 threes a game. Stop grabbing him, please."
Steph Curry's shooting trainer has been sharing posts about Caitlin Clark, and Steph was even seen rocking her Nike sneakers. On top of that, there are growing signs that she could be putting in off-season work with his personal shooting coach. At the same time, Caitlin recently dropped a comment under Steph's interview that has fans analyzing every detail. The link between them keeps getting stronger, and the timing feels significant for several reasons. But before diving deeper, here's a quick question. If Caitlin Clark is truly training with Steph Curry's shooting coach this offseason, does that raise her threat level for next year? Or is this simply off-season buzz? Let me know what you think, because this connection could be important. Caitlin has been fairly active on social media recently, which isn't out of character, but one particular remark sparked major speculation about what might be happening behind closed doors. After a game where the Hornets were tightly face-guarding Steph, he addressed it in an interview. Caitlin responded in the comments, writing, "We want to see Steph hit 12 threes a game. Stop holding him, please." At first glance, it might just look like a fan cheering for another player. But when Caitlin Clark makes that very specific comment about that exact situation, people take notice. Physical grabs, holds, and harassment on the perimeter have been a recurring challenge throughout her WNBA career, so her remark carries extra weight. Now, let's break down what Steph said in that interview, because it ties in perfectly. He was asked whether it frustrates him to be defended the way the Hornets were guarding him, and his answer was spot on. He explained that part of him resists it since it doesn't feel like genuine basketball, yet another part finds it flattering, recognizing the attention he draws and how it opens up scoring opportunities for his teammates.
He has seen it, but Caitlin Clark commented underneath that video, "We want to see Steph make 12 threes a game. Stop grabbing him, please." And she never really, she would say when something was a foul or to, a complaint to that ilk. But Caitlin hasn't come out and said, what they're doing isn't basketball that often.
That line, "It's not real basketball," carries a lot of weight. Steph is tactfully pointing out that when defenders rely on grabbing, holding, and face guarding instead of playing proper defense, it's not true strategy. It's desperation dressed up as physicality. Caitlin Clark knows that feeling all too well, because she faced it relentlessly during her rookie WNBA season. Opponents blitzed her more than anyone else at the start of the year, often sending 2 or even 3 defenders the moment she crossed half court. She was grabbed, held, bumped, and shoved on nearly every single possession.
Does it bother you in any way being guarded the way they did in a regular season game?
There's a part of you that fights it just because it's not real basketball, but there's also a part of it that's flattering. Just knowing that you demand that much attention, and also what it does to create shots for other guys on the floor. So, and I've seen it all, so I know if that's how they want to guard, how I can be effective, not let it take me out of the game, but also kind of use it to our advantage as a team. And then it's also funny at times just how egregious it is. There's one possession, I gotta find I actually get the footage. I actually stayed back in the backcourt a long time on purpose just to see how long Sion would stay with me. So that was a fun one.
Yeah, there was a clip of Colin Sexton covering you when you left the court.
Yeah, we both knew what we were doing. We were having fun.
All right, last one over.
Some of that contact is just part of smart defensive strategy. When you're guarding the league's top shooter, you naturally tweak your coverage, but a lot of it went beyond that, into the kind of physicality that would draw fouls in almost any other situation. And in the WNBA, refs often let it slide. Stephanie White, now coaching Caitlyn in Indiana, but coaching against her in Connecticut last season, even admitted that perimeter contact is widely undercalled across the league. Rebecca Lobo highlighted it too, showing a string of uncalled fouls on Caitlyn like she was handing out prizes. You get a foul, you get a foul, you get a foul. Yet Caitlyn herself has mostly stayed quiet publicly. She's called out specific incidents, like Kennedy Carter's shoulder check, which was clearly outside the rules, but she hasn't made a broader statement about how perimeter defense is handled. That's why her comment on Steph's interview, "Stop grabbing him," carries weight. She isn't just defending Steph. She's speaking from experience without turning the spotlight on herself. It's a clever, measured way to make a point without sounding like she's complaining or demanding special treatment. And truthfully, she's right. Fans do want to see Steph drop 12 threes a game. That's exactly why Steph sells jerseys in Philly arenas and why fans line up for his signature shoes. His shooting is the draw. When defenders resort to grabbing to stop it, it diminishes the experience for everyone watching. The same applies to Caitlyn Clark. Fans tune in to see her drain 30-foot shots, hit step-back threes, and deliver impossible passes. That's what makes her a star. Attendance surged when she played, and her games earn national TV coverage. But when defenders simply mug her and refs don't intervene, the product suffers. The WNBA has oddly treated excessive physicality as a mark of toughness, implying it makes the league more legitimate. But that logic is backwards. The NBA limits grabbing and holding to let its stars shine, knowing audiences come for offensive brilliance, not defensive mugging. Many players have spoken out about it. Kelsey Plum, Becky Hammond, Natalie Nass, Stephanie White all have flagged the problem. It's a league-wide issue that affects perimeter players, particularly elite shooters. What's striking is that Caitlyn hasn't publicly commented on it until now, making her recent remark all the more notable.
Caitlyn Clark, and you get the attention that she does, you're going to get outsized defensive attention. In her rookie season, she was blitzed more to start that year than any team. A lot of that is strategy. They know what she can do. They know where she has the ball, all that stuff. But then there's part of it like trying to prove a point against her. And then, of course, when you want to rough up the other team's star, that's what coaches preach. If the refs are going to let you do it, you do it. It's something that became a point of contention across her WNBA career so far, with Stephanie White, who probably deployed that strategy with the Connecticut Sun, saying that too much contact is allowed on the perimeter. And that's a thing across the WNBA, and it became a theme across the WNBA. But, Caitlyn is allowed to be grabbed and held and all those things. Even to the point where I remember there was a broadcast where Rebecca Lobo pointed out, like, there's a foul, and there's a foul, and there's a foul, like Oprah giving.
Caitlyn has handled this diplomatically, likely because publicly criticizing officiating can make a player look soft or like they're making excuses. But by commenting on Steph's situation, she gets a way to make the same point without it being directly about herself. Now, the other connections between Caitlyn and Steph are fueling speculation. Steph recently wore Caitlyn's Nike shoes, and his shooting coach has been posting about her online. Based on context clues, there's a strong possibility that Caitlyn is training with Steph's personal shooting coach this offseason. While it's not confirmed, the signs are compelling. And if true, it's a huge development. Steph Curry's shooting coach has worked with arguably the greatest shooter in basketball history. The drills, techniques, and training approaches that have kept Steph elite for over a decade could be immensely valuable for Caitlyn. It makes total sense. She's already the best shooter in women's basketball, but if she can further refine her mechanics, enhance her shot preparation, and incorporate proven methods from Steph's system, she could become even more unstoppable. The connection between Caitlyn Clark and Steph Curry also makes sense from a branding standpoint. Nike has heavily invested in both athletes. They're undersized guards who've redefined how people view shooting range and often face similar defensive attention and physical pressure. The synergy is clear. Steph has long supported women's basketball, talking about his daughters playing and wanting them to see WNBA role models. Caitlyn embodies the type of player who can inspire the next generation, just as Steph inspired kids to start shooting from the logo. That shared mindset and playing style naturally fosters mutual respect. Yet there's also a competitive edge. Caitlyn isn't satisfied with being merely good. She wants to dominate and win championships. If training with Steph's team this offseason gives her an advantage, she's savvy enough to seize it. The timing adds intrigue. Caitlyn recently made another social media comment that drew attention. Elijah Sarrett, an Indiana receiver competing in the college football national championship, revealed that his dog is named Caitlin Clark. Both CC and Caitlyn replied, saying, "Both the player and the dog are welcome courtside this year. Not, if there's a season, this year." It's a casual way of confirming that games are happening. Caitlyn seems confident the CBA negotiations will resolve and that the WNBA season is moving forward as planned. And she's probably right. She's the biggest leverage point the players have. The reason WNBA players can even negotiate massive raises traces back to Caitlyn's rookie season. Attendance soared, viewership records were shattered, merchandise sales skyrocketed, and corporate sponsors who had long ignored the league suddenly wanted in. All of that came from the attention Caitlyn brought. So when she casually says there's going to be a season, it carries real weight. If she believed a canceled season was likely, she'd be more cautious with her wording. By openly inviting fans courtside, she signals she knows something the public doesn't about the negotiations. At a recent USA basketball camp, she emphasized that the CBA debates are meaningless if they aren't playing. She called it the most important moment in WNBA history and urged players to fight for what they believe in while compromising on other issues. That level of maturity and pragmatism is impressive for someone in only their second year, and it shows just how aware Caitlyn is of the influence and responsibility her position carries.